Hey, my name's Izzy, this is Rolling Virtual Cards, coming at you with another Commander deck build. If I sound tired or out of it at all, it's because I just got over COVID. COVID turned into bronchitis, I have zero energy, and I am just trying to make it through the week, or weeks. They said it could last up another 3 weeks, so let's hope it gets better here, guys. I'd like to be able to stream and make videos for you all, but even doing this is a lot of work at this point, which is insane to think. But let's go over this. Galadriel of Lothlórien is 1, a green and a blue for a 3/3 legendary creature, Elf Noble. When the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Galadriel of Lothlórien as your ring bearer, you scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top card of your library. If a land card is revealed this way, put it on the battlefield tapped. So if you scry 3 with her ability, put a land on top, you reveal the top, put it on the battlefield tapped. Very strong in this regard. So, why would you want to play Galadriel in the first place over any other Simic deck? Well, number one, if you like Galadriel as a character in the Lord of the Ring books, that'd be the main reason I would suggest running her. Other than that, though, it is a very fun, fair, grindy deck. You're casting cards with the ring tips you so that you can scry 3, hopefully find a land on top and drop it. You're playing other cards that scry you so that if you do find a land on top, you can drop it, because you can get multiple land drops per turn. It's not a once per turn effect, which makes it very fun and interesting. And that's kind of where this hits, that middle ground. It's not a speedy combo deck. It's not your like aggressive aggro deck. You're looking at like a nice, fun, mid-range control probably. Just looking for good cards, good scries, and just kind of tempo out your opponents, which is great for any level of play. Not very CEDH friendly here, a little low powered there, but even a high powered deck with this one, running enough scry abilities and pushing it to the next level would be interesting. So let's go into the card by card here. First, we got the ETBs. ETBs are going to be in every single commander deck for the most part. They are very strong because they do something on entering the battlefield, which is good because you don't have to worry about someone killing it. It has to be countered for it not to get the ability. First, we got Fairy Seer. This is a 1-drop for a 1/1 with flying. It's going to enter the battlefield and scry 2. If your commander's on the field, just put a land on top and drop another land. It's great. A great turn 1 play, even with your commander out. This is going to help you go, oh, I got Fairy Seer, I can play this turn 1. I need lands. Okay, keep the lands on top. Oh, I don't need lands. Bottom, right? Witching Well is just the same concept. You're going to scry 2 when it enters the battlefield for blue. But then, instead of being a 1/1 flyer that can hit later, it's for 3 and a blue, you can sack it to draw 2 cards, which is turn 4 after the commander's out. You can just use this to draw some cards. Especially if you're scrying and you know you need those cards. Augur Owl is 1 in a blue. When it enters the battlefield, scry 3. This is again great. That scry 3 is what's going to help push you. You're going to be able to find more lands, or fix whatever you fix it up so you can get what you need. And the 1/1 flyers aren't to be forgotten. They're great at blocking other flyers that might be dangerous, or getting in for some small amount of damage. Lotus Cobra is great because we're running a landfall deck. This is going to turn those lands you get off your commander into mana. So even though they come in tapped, you'll at least be able to do a nice, get some extra ramp off of them. Elrond, Lord of Rivendell, is great in this deck. It's 2 in a blue for a 3/2 Elf Noble, and when it enters, it or another creature enters the battlefield into control, you scry 1. If this is the second time this ability resolves this turn, the ring tempts you. This does everything you need it to do. It is a perfect card in this deck, possibly the golden card, the golden ring in this case. Not only is it going to scry you for every creature entering the battlefield, thus triggering your commander for every creature entering, allowing you to go, oh look, there's a land on top, leave it on top, boom, right? Not a land, bottom it unless you really need it, and then boom, land. The second time, so the second creature that enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you, which will then trigger Galadriel if you choose even just Elrond. causing you to scry 3. So not only will you scry 1 with the creature entering the second creature entering, you're also going to get the ring to tempt you. So this is just such a perfect card. If you have it in your opening hand, keep it there. It's great to drop right afterwards because it will trigger off of itself, so you can cast it and then like a 1-drop. Like if Galadriel is turn 3, turn 4 Elrond, and then like Faeseer or Augur or Augury, and that'll get like, or I guess Faeseer, another 1-drop creature, and that'll get Elrond to trigger the ring, which is great. Next we got Scoot Swarm. This is your big finisher. This is your main win con. 2 and a green for a 1/1 insect with landfall. When a land enters the battlefield, you make a 1/1 insect. But if you have 6 or more lands, you make a copy of Scoot Swarm, and those copies will go to the nth. So if you have 1 and the land comes in, you get 2. The second land that comes in will give you 4. The next one will give you 8, then 16, 32, and so on and so forth, doubling, allowing you to just swarm the field and win the game. Scoot Swarm on the field. Now they don't have haste, so that could be your downside. If you want to give them haste in some way, the deck will be more aggressive. Otherwise, give people a turn to see if they can stop it. It's kind of fun. Tyler's Provisioner is going to give you treasures when land falls. This is going to be great ramp, doing its best Lotus Cobra impression. But you can also get food in those cases where you just need a little extra life. And Tyler's Tracker is going to be giving you clue tokens on landfalls. By investigating, this is great because you can turn those extra that mana into draw from the scries you're finding. Because the worst part is like when you're scrying, you're just keeping that 1 card on top because you really need it or really want it, and you can't convince yourself to bottom it, but you're not finding lands anymore. With Scry 1. Scry 2 is maybe you find a land underneath, you put it on top. But this will allow you to get those. And then when you sacrifice a clue, you put a 1/1 counter on it, which is pretty good. Becoming really strong with the next set. That's just been that's been showing off. A Rampaging Boloth is again another finisher like Scoot Swarm. This is it's a 6/6 trampler for 6, and then landfall you make a 4/4 beast token. So that's just going to get you a lot of 4/4 beasts, and then the following turn you probably win. These are just your ETBs. They do something on fall, or like if you wait a turn, they'll do something with the land you play that turn. Finisher is Scoot Swarm. I really should put you in finisher as well. Forgot to do that. There we go. And here's my cat, guys, as always. You like seeing my cat every once in a while? Not every video, but most of them. You love me? Yes, she loves me. Down you go, kitty cat. Okay. This is the one Magecraft we have. Whenever you cast a historical spell, you're going to scry 1. This is going to trigger off any artifact you play and any legendary you play. And sagas, I don't think I'm running a lot of sagas. I don't know if we're running a lot of artifacts in the first place, but even just 1 is going to be useful here. So, very good in that regards. Again, with Magecraft, I just use that terminology for any card that triggers off a cast. Ramp. We've got 15 ramp. Let's go over. We got a Soul Ring. Soul Ring's great in this deck because your commander just costs, I think it's, it does kind of help you cast your commander. Arcane Signet is going to cap for any color. Joint Exploration, it's 1 and a blue to scry 2, then draw a card, but if you paid the green kicker, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield, so that is ramp. And scry 2, which will trigger the landfall. Lotus Cobra, we went over him. Nissa, Starward of Elements. This is ramp because of the 0. You look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card or creature card with converted mana cost less than its amount of loyalty counters, put it on the battlefield. So this will allow you to just drop lands for free. You can also scry with her. And it's neg 6, up to 2 target lands become 5/5 elemental creature tokens, and with haste until end turn, they're still lands. So it's a way you can technically finish someone because they're flying in haste, so you can possibly deal the 10 damage to knock someone out. Thrasios, Trident Hero is in here because it does have that scry. It's a good mana sink. Did I put it in as mana sink? I don't. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. But it's here in ramp because you scry 1 and reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, you put it on the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, draw a card. Treasure Map. It's here because you put a land counter on it. You tap it to scry 1, pay 1, tap it, scry 1, put a land marker on it. Then if there's 3 more land markers, transform it and make 3 treasure tokens. Those 3 treasure tokens is why it's technically ramp. And then it becomes a land, which is technically, I guess, ramp. And then you can sacrifice, with the following effect, to sacrifice a treasure, draw a card. Inherited envelope, when it enters the battle, the ring tempts you, and then it taps for mana. This is ring tempts you, but also ramp. Model of Unity. When players finish voting, you and each opponent who voted for a choice, you vote for your choice you voted for may scry to you. And then you tap it to add a mana of any color. We are running some vote effects in this deck, and it allows you to scry, which is useful. And it's also just ramp. Omen of the Hunt comes in, and you can search the library for a basic land card and put on the battle tap. So it's ramp, it's got flash, and then for 3 you can sack it to scry to. Retreat to Coralhelm is going to help you. It's technically ramp because when a land enters the battlefield, you can untap a creature. So if you have a creature that taps for mana, you can untap it and then tap it more. Seer's Lantern is here because it taps for colorless. Careless Provision makes those treasures. The ring goes south. The ring tempts you, and then you reveal cards to the top of your library till you reveal X land cards, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Put those land cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Even if you just have one, like your commander, that's fine, because that's going to be the ring tempting you, triggering your commander, and then 1 land ramp for 4, which I think is fine. But if you have a few more legendaries, it won't hurt. And then Asi, Tyrant of Gyre Strait is in here because it allows you to play an additional land. Again, I'm not going to really go over the lands. They're just lands. I guess the Temple's better in this deck, and then I'm also running Castle of Interest because scrying. Vote. We have 2 vote cards, the Model Unity, and then Aristor of the Council. Whenever each player finishes voting, each opponent who voted for a choice you voted for creates a treasure token, and then you scry X, where X is the number of opponents who voted for a choice you didn't vote for. Draw a card. Am I running 2 finished voting cards with no way to vote? I think I added those without thinking. I'll double check as I go through this deck. It's been a while since I built this deck. Here's the accidental life gain. Tyler's Provisioner, like I said, you can make the foods and sack them to gain 3 life. And then Tadiova is going to draw you cards and land into the battlefield, but you also gain a life. You got the 1 cantrip and opt, which should just be draw. I stopped using cantrip as a terminology. Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer. Whenever you scry, choose 1, and Glorfindel gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Either it must be blocked or it can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So you can get it pretty big if you constantly scry and then force them to block killing something. Draw, we have a lot of draw. We've got Birthday Escape, which is going to draw you a card, and then the ring tempts you. Opt, which will scry you and then draw you a card. Preordain, which will scry 2 and then draw a card. Serum Vision, which draws you a card and scry 2. Each of these scries, again, reminder, you might be able to drop a land, so they become ramp. Witching Well, you can sack it to draw the cards. Council's Deliberation, you get to draw a card, and whenever you scry, if you control an island, you may exile it from your graveyard if you do draw a card. Deliberate, you can descry 2 and then draw a card. We went over to Exploration. Lost Isle Calling, whenever you scry, you put a first counter on it, and then you can pay 4 and 2 blue, exile it, and draw a card for each first counter on it. And then if you had 7 or more reverse counters on it, take an extra turn at this one. Activate only as a sorcery. This is great. You're going to hit that pretty fast. Taking the extra turn is great, especially with all those new cards in hand. Omen of the Sea is going to enter and scry 2, draw a card, and then you can sack it to scry 2. Season of Growth, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you scryed 1. And then whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature, you can draw a card. I don't know if I'm really running any of those. It's mainly just the scrying off creatures entering the battlefield that you care about in this deck. Thrasios does draw you the card if it's not a land. Treasure Map draws you cards off of sacking the treasures it makes. Esertal draws you a card whenever you vote, regardless of the outcome. Jace Mirror Mage allows you to draw a card within 0, but then it deals damage to itself equal to the converted mana cost. But it can also be kicked to make a copy of it. That copy has 1 loyalty. And then the +1 just scries 2, so you're really just trying to pay 5, get 2 scry 2s in the field. so you can just keep going for that. Draw a card if needed, like I've talked about. Lifecrafter's Bestiary is going to scry each upkeep, which is, again, oh look, it's a land. I get a ramp and then draw a different card. And then you can draw cards off of your creature off of casting your creatures by paying a green. Tireless Tracker will draw your cards off of the clues. Elrond, Master of Healing. Whenever you scry, you put a 1/1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. X is the number of cards looked. Okay, so yeah. So if you scry like 3 with your commander, you can put 3 1/1 count. You can put a 1/1 counter on up to 3 creatures. And then whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it becomes a target of spell or ability and opponent controls, you draw a card. This is great just to make it so that your opponents are negging themselves, I guess. So yeah, it's 2 for 1ing themselves. They had to use 1, but you get a card for it. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. It has flash, and then you can cast spells as though they had. You can cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Not the most important, but the big thing is whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, as your ring bearer, you draw a card. Since the ring tempting you a lot, you get to draw cards off of them. Jace, Unraveler of Secrets. It's got the scry, +1 scry, draw. You can also neg 2 to return a creature to another's hand, and it's neg 8 whenever an opponent casts his first spell, you turn counter that spell, which slows the game down and helps you win. Tetiova is going to draw a card when landed into the battlefield. Same with Icy. You just draw a card off of interviews. You got the 2 evasion cards. Aqueous Form. Enchant the creature can't be blocked, and whenever it attacks, you scry 1. Put this on your commander, do some commander damage a little bit here and there, and then also just scry every time it attacks. And then Elvish Marion, when it attacks, you scry 1, and then whenever you scry, tap up to X target non-land permanents, where X is the number of cards you looked while scrying this way. So if the ring tempts you, you can like tap 3 creatures off of your commander, and then whenever it attacks, you're tapping something, allowing you to get in for a little bit more damage. Interaction, we're running like 7. We've got Bombadil's Song, which will put a 1/1 counter on a creature. It gains hexproof, and the ring tempts you, so great way to protect something. Small little buff with the +1/+1. And then the ring tempting you is the main thing there. Counterspell is Counterspell, Glorious Gale. You counter a creature spell, and then if it was legendary spell, the ring tempts you. This is great in Commander because you can just make sure you counter their commander. Soothing of Smeagol. Return target non-token creature to its owner's hand. The ring tempts you. Beast Within is Beast Within. You just pop any target, give them a 3/3 beast. Horse of the Burinian. 3 and a 2 blue. You get to return 2 creatures to their owner's hands and then scry 1, and then the ring tempts you. And then we went over Jace Raveler of Secrets. You can bounce something back to their opponent's hand for neg 2. The Search for Greatness is another one of the best cards here. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost of other permanents you control without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you scry 1. So at your upkeep, if you have like a 3-drop on the field, you can cast a 4-drop for free. Otherwise, you're scrying, and that scry is why it's here. That the upside here, scry 1, that's great in this deck. On the downside, on the higher upside, like I guess the downside is, oh no, I have to scry 1, but the upside is like I could have put something on for free. We went over this. This is already you already changed stuff out with its neg 0. 2 mana seeks. The other Arwen, Arwen Undominable, whenever you scry, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and then you can pay 6 to scry 2. So if you've got nothing better to do on an opponent's turn, just scry 2. Possibly get a land on the field. And Thrasios is another, just pay 4, and then try to scry. Fill the top card of your library if it's a land card. Boom, right? It's kind of weird with how Thrasios works with your commander. You scry 1, and then I think since you're scrying, it interrupts it, and then you can reveal the land. So then Thrasios then reveals the land afterwards. Yeah, it's one of 2 ways. Either Thrasios' whole thing finishes, so you scry 1, you reveal the top, oh look, it's a land, put it on the field, and then your commander goes off. Or you scry 1, oh look, it's a land, your commander goes, put it on the field. Then you draw a card off, then you reveal the top card off Thrasios. If it's a land, put it on the field, or you put it in your hand. So it's similar both ways, but not the exact. I double check how that works. Protection, Bombadil, Glorious Gale. Why is Counterspell not in protection? Guess I'm not. I don't run it in every single deck. Where they are. Counterspells are protection spells. and then yeah, his negate is technically protected. The ring. Are there any cards in it? Yes. Shortcut to mushrooms. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. In the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, put a 1/1 counter target creature you control. You can make your commander slightly bigger or something else slightly bigger. If a permanent you control left the battlefield, you do have ways to make like clues and treasures, so those could leave. Doesn't say non-token permanent, but it's here for the ring. Same like Moromir Guardian, and when it dies, the ring tempts you. It's just here to die. Scroll of Isildur. Gain control of up to one target creature. One target artifact for as long as you control it. The ring tempts you. So instantly the ring's going to tempt you, which is good. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each of them, and then draw a card for each tap creature target opponent controls. So, not bad. I like it. I think it's interesting. I understand it. Like, it's kind of cool because you're stealing the ring. The ring goes south. We went over that one, and Horse of the Barian we went over. Oh, I didn't go over this one. Dreadful as the Storm. Target creatures, base power, and toughness become 5/5, and the ring tempts you. It's here, the ring tempts you. A bunch of Scry. There are a few here that are just here for Scry, like Mystic Speculation. It's just 1 for Scry 3, and you can buy back for 2. If you got nothing better to do, Scry with this. This is basically ramp. We went over those. Any other ones that are just here? Oh, no, we went over that. Oh, no, we haven't. Green creatures get +1/+1, and then whenever a green creature enters the battlefield, you scry 1. You're running enough green creatures to make that work. Crystal Ball is just here. Pay 1, scry 2. A Psychic Input, enchant creature gets +2/+2 and is goaded. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, you scry 2. So you can put it on an opponent's creature and then force them to attack within scry 2, or just put it on a creature you control and keep attacking and scrying 2. Thassa, God of the Sea, will have you scry to your upkeep once, and then you can make a creature unblockable for 2, which isn't bad, and it's also a pretty big creature itself with indestructible. Celeborn, the Wise. Oh, isn't that yeah, I don't have evasion at this one. It is evasion. Celeborn the Wise, when you attack with one of our elves, scry 1. It's an elf. Your commander is an elf, and whenever you scry, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each card looked this way while scrying. So with your commander triggering off the 1 ring, you'll get +3/+3 on it, and then if you attack, it's another +1/+1. It can become pretty big. We went over the rest, and those are the 2 tokens. The 2 cards that should not be in this deck, I'm gonna have to remove, and I'll just do a quick ad lib. I'll be right back. I'm back. I don't know if there was an actual cut there, or if the pausing just works, or if it didn't work. Let me know. I guess I'll find out after this. I added 2 different cards. I added Eyes Everywhere, which is another newer card, 2 and a blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you scry 1, and then you can pay 6 to exchange it with a non-land permanent, which can be useful if they have something like really scary, and it's only sorcery speed, but scrying each upkeep is going to be useful. And then Sonic Screwdriver, this set wasn't released when I was originally doing these decks, so again, most of these decks are just a set guide. Go off with them afterwards. I'm at 101. Oh yeah, I'll fix that in a second. But this one, it's going to ramp you, it's going to untap artifacts, it's going to scry you 1 for 2, and then you can make a creature unblockable. And the only other thing I added, although as I always say, I do not care about talking about lands. I'm removing this because I don't actually like Mirrored Landscape. I tossed in Rivendell because if your commander's out, you can scry 2 with it, and that's great. Yeah, other than that, that's the whole point of the deck. You're really just aiming to really get this nice flow going of just scrying, landfalling, ramping. The scries, since you're getting rid of the lands off the top of your deck, will become better cards, which will help you kind of snowball out. And there's ways to buff things with the scrying, so it's fun. And the more scry effects the more scry cards we get, the better the deck will become. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.